Hey, I'm Mark Clement, and if you love working on your house, building things, or working on your car as much as I do, well, maybe you've seen me around. I write for all kinds of different magazines. I've written a novel called The Carpenter's Notebook, and you might have even caught me on TV. And the reason I'm here today is to share with you a whole new suite of tools from Stanley. And it's not just new tools like you've seen before. We're talking about a whole bunch of new innovations, new strategies, new approaches to doing work and doing work better than I've ever seen before. I've already had them at work on my job sites. I've got them all laid out back at the shop, and I'm really excited to take you through. So come on back, we'll walk through these, we'll talk tools, we'll learn some stuff together. Come on. You kidding me? All right. I realize we made this particular application up for the video here, but if you've ever been under a sink putting in a faucet, putting a plumbing connection together, jammed between two deck joists working on a post where you have to turn a wrench, you know what I'm feeling. Your blood pressure's through the roof, your knuckles are banged up, you're not making very much time. What you need is a game-changing tool, and what Bostitch has come up with is a game-changing tool. I've had an adjustable wrench in my toolbox since the day I started in this business, and I still have one. I use it for everything from those things I mentioned to working on my tools to setting up my tools, but the reality is it's slow. What I need is a little more refinement. And Bostitch's ratcheting adjustable wrench is just that. This little plate here slides, allowing me to keep the tool on the work. And instead of removing it every single time, finding a new place, trying to figure out if it's readjusted itself or whatever, you just skate it along the surface of the nut and your work done, no fuss, no muss. We're talking about chrome vanadium steel. We're talking about meeting and exceeding ANSI standards. And we're talking about multiple sizes. So if I'm a plumber, if I'm an electrician, if I'm a carpenter, if I'm working around the house, I've got a tool that meets my needs. All successful projects start with layout, and all layout starts with your tape measure. But it's more than just about reading numbers off a tape. It's about a well-designed tape that's going to enable you to be accurate, to work alone, and that's going to last on a job site. Let me show you what I mean. First of all, we've got a tri-coated blade. It's steel. The steel is laminated with a mylar coating that's going to make these numbers and the gradations last. That's important. Finally is the blade armor coating that covers the most worn part of any tape measure I've ever owned, which is about the first 5 inches. They crease, they snap. Even when a tape gets recoiled back in, that's where you've got this kind of action. The blade is laminated with a very, very high-tech material Stanley calls blade armor. And this is how high-tech it is. This is so cool. Blade armor is the same material that you'll find on the titanium rotor tips of Black Hawk helicopters and other military aircraft. There's no question that this stuff is built for durability. The reality is, like you, I work by myself a lot, or I've got guys working on my crew that I don't want them constantly calling me, can you hold the tape? Hey, come here, can you do this? Can you do that? Look at this. I'm gonna hold this tape out 11 feet. Are you kidding me? Whether I'm reaching across a ceiling to measure a piece of crown, or I'm reaching up a roof to measure to the ridge cap for an estimate, the blade gives me awesome stability. It enables me to work by myself. This is what we're calling the Phat Max difference, and it is brought to you by the company that not only invented the phrase measure twice, cut once, but has been in the tape measure business for 160 years. We're talking about technology, we're talking about design, we're talking about people who've been there, done that, and they've built a tool to solve problems for us. If you've ever played baseball, or tennis, or golf, or like me, racquetball, any sport where you hit something with something else, you know there's a sweet spot, that optimum point of contact where you know you've got the best shot and you can feel it. Well, Stanley has brought that sweet spot technology out of sports and into tools. And this is great. They've brought it to bear in their new line of Phat Max hammers. And let me get right to it on this one. They've done it right here on the head. Just like the Big Bertha golf club or my oversized racquetball racket, they've increased the size of the striking surface to increase the size of the sweet spot. We're talking about 70% more striking surface area, whether you're hitting a nail or you're bashing a 2x4 out in a demolition project.
Introducing the fastest one-handed clamp available. The new Phat Max Extreme Auto Trigger Clamp makes clamping faster and easier. Let's show you how it works. One touch of the trigger quickly and conveniently closes the jaws on whatever you want to clamp, fast. Once the clamp is in place, simply squeeze the trigger to generate up to 450 pounds of brute clamping force, the most available on the market. You can quickly convert it to a spreader by simply repositioning the jaw, and you're ready to go. Its reinforced nylon body is built job site tough. So where do you need the fastest, strongest one-handed clamp? Quickly and easily hang cabinets. You can position the cabinet by lifting it in place with the spreader and then locking it in place with the clamp. The Stanley Phat Max Extreme Auto Trigger Clamp allows you to quickly clamp things in place. For cutting, joining, spreading, or holding just about anything in place. The new Stanley Phat Max Extreme Auto Trigger Clamp